What it is, y'all? It is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you today with more Danmachi. And what we're talking about today is the Familia Royale, and this is actually a remake. I did make this video, wrong one. I made this video last night, and I wasn't really happy with the numbers I got. And after farting around with it for a while, I actually cracked 14 million. Now, I've not been able to recreate that. I think that was just a magic number, RNG and all that stuff. But let's go and jump in here, and let's talk about this event. Now, there's a couple things I'm not going to necessarily talk about, just because I am a little bit on the competitive side. But I'm going to tell you most everything you need to know about this event, and exactly how you want to tackle this. And the long and the short of it is, you want a mostly AoE team, with one really good single target hitter, i.e. we've got Goblin Slayer. Now, the units in here are weak to Dark and Thunder, so do bear that in mind. And the first units, the first set we're up against tonight, and we'll get the next set, I believe, tomorrow night. The first set we've got tonight, they are they're basically neutral. Like, they don't care whether you hit them with physical, they don't care whether you hit them with magic, doesn't really matter. So you've got like a nice assortment of units here. Now, I do have Haruhime with the Orna Assist. You should know 100% why that's the case. Goblin Slayer does have the Artemis Assist. That's to give him the extra 20% 20% strength buff, and the whole reason for that is because he's my main hitter. He's going to be my single target hitter that's going to hit like a damn truck. So that's why he's there. We've got Ryu, and I have the Casino Seer on her. Now, my Ryu is only +3 and is only 3 times Hero Ascended. I haven't pulled any dupes of her. I'm waiting to see how this goes. Now, my initial tests of her, I wasn't overly impressed, but I actually like what she's been doing here. Now, to be fair, our Familia skill is up, so you know, she's hitting a little harder because of that, but I've actually been pretty happy with her in this event. Way more than ever before. Now, moving on, I do have Priestess. I'm really only using her for the Line skill, but, I mean, Priestess, she's got a Dark type, I mean, and she does a little bit of an attack. It's like the littlest smidge over what Line would do. It's really not that impressive, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, I do have Sword Maiden on her, and Sword Maiden also is only +3, but Sword Maiden has that really good debuff skill. So, she's basically to come in, debuff, and then leave. Now, she does do a Thunder, I think it's a Thunder buff, but the Thunder buff is not going to help because we don't have any Thunder units on the team. The team is all Dark, okay? Then we bring in Elmina. Now, Elmina is going to help our AoE attacks. She's going to add an extra 20% to all of our AoE attacks, and that's going to help basically everybody on this team, even Goblin Slayer. You'll see why in a few minutes. And then, of course, I have another assist here that's going to help us with AoE skills a little bit more. Then, finally, we have a mid dropping. And the main reason we have her on here is to remove debuffs, because they are going to debuff us, debuff strength and magic, and I'm going to use her to remove that before we do SAs. Other than that, unfortunately, she is a little bit unmatched for this team. We wind up going an extra turn or two just because she's not killing him fast enough, and you do want to kill him quickly. But you also want to make sure, as much as killing him fast, like I've seen people boast about killing him in, 5-6 turns, that's good and all, but if you're not getting an SA, that gives you basically a huge damage, like a one huge single attack damage for like 1 million plus, you're missing out. You need that big score, and I'll show you why at the end. Okay? So let's go in here. Let's give this a shot. Let's talk about this. All right? Familia skills activated. I'm going to turn this way a little bit so I can access this a little bit easier. And one thing I'm going to try to do is try to take away some of these little goblins, because they're going to really, I mean, if we can get rid of that without having to drop debuffs, that'd be great. And that means that I can actually come in a little bit later. And I'm actually not 100% certain who's dropping those debuffs. So just a little trial and error on my part. Now, we're going to start off by doing our big buffs and debuffs. Nothing abnormal here. And then after this turn, Priestess is going to disappear. Okay? Nothing major to see here. There we go. Alright. Elmina's going to come in with her 30% increase. I said 20%. It's a 30% increase. Okay? And we're just going to continue on our normal path. Once again, Nothing abnormal, nothing really extraordinary here. Now, one thing that is worth mentioning, I did not put any anti-poisons on the team, mostly because I really just don't see much of the purpose in it. The main thing that it does is kind of damage you a little bit, but if I'm fair, like, yes, you were taking a little bit of health damage, but with Haruhime on this team, and with us about to give her big boost, it really isn't going to make much of a difference, if I'm entirely honest. Now, a mid can remove those, but I'm not going to worry about it. It really isn't the end of the world here. Okay? Now, turn 3, Goblin Slayer is going to do a single target hit, and that's just to increase the rest of his damage overall. And then turn 4, Haruhime is going to do her big thing. Okay? I'm going to do that to remove our debuffs. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go back to doing mostly AoEs with Goblin Slayer. Now, yeah, we're going to continue on this path. Now, I have to be really careful, because after this turn, if I don't start replicating buffs and debuffs, Goblin Slayer is going to lose that big buff, and we don't want to lose that. So we're going to have to go back and add that back in here in a moment. There we go. Perfect. All right, now I'm going to have them doing that, and she's going to do that. And then basically we're just going to kind of spam this for a little bit. The goal is obviously to get 2 super attacks. That is going to be kind of my number 1. And I want to get rid of the debuffs, so I'm actually going to do this one more time on that little guy, because I think he's the one that does them. So yeah, he's gone this turn. And no, he did not do he is not the one who does the debuffs. So on this turn, I'm actually going to have Goblin Slayer do his main attack on this big guy. If we can get the big guys gone, that's going to help us out dramatically. Okay? I'm going to have everyone else continue to do their thing. And Goblin Slayer is going to produce what he produces. Now, he is going to be debuffed here, so he's not going to have the greatest hit ever. And a mid's not going to remove the debuff before he gets in there. So the goal here kind of is get rid of those debuffs this turn, and then next turn produce something a little bit better. He didn't even hit for a mill there, did he? Yeah. But to be fair, his second essay is kind of the big dog. That's more than anything else what we're after here. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do this one more time. Get rid of him. Yeah, let's do that. Perfect. Alright, our debuffs are gone, and then we can go tag him. Now, turn 9 isn't the best. I would much rather have this on turn 8. That's where I actually had it last night when I got 14 mil. But without any debuffs here, the second SA, let's see what he gets. Hopefully it's good. Now, I would rather kind of do a double SA. Yeah, he would hit a lot harder with a double SA. But it is what it is. Sometimes if you do 2 back-to-back SAs, but I didn't time it right, he can hit it harder. So there's 11 mil. That's not so bad. I'm going to go back in here, do a couple more things, and see if we can finagle that a little bit. But if you want to know how the scores pretty much work, it says right there, max damage was 1.1 mil. Love to get a little bit more than that. Total hits are 33. Basically, the faster you wipe out units and the less turns you take, the lower that number, the better this boost. So 172 isn't too bad. 172 would have been really good had that number been a lot higher. And I had up to 240 last time when I got my 14 mil with, I think, a number right around that range. So you can kind of get where I'm going with this. Hopefully this gives you some good ideas how to strategize, but I didn't give too much away. You really still got to use the gray matter a little bit, because I don't want to give away too much for the people outside our Familia, because our Familia has been absolutely doing stellar. And I do want to boast a little bit about our Familia, because last night we were rank 22. Let's go to ranking details, go to Familia details, and let's go to personal. Last night we were 22. We're down to 26 now, but that still isn't bad. We were 50th, just under 50th, in the last Familia event, and we're doing even better now. So congratulations, Chesty and Familia. Let's keep this up, and let's keep kicking ass and taking names. And hopefully I didn't give away too much for the other Familias in this, but, you know, it's also my job to be a content creator and help you guys out. So, skirting that line. That's going to be the video for now, guys. I'm going to go back in here and try to get a little bit more damage out of this and see where we can get, but let me know what scores you guys will be getting in this, and I'll be back at you guys with the other Familia Royale tomorrow. And I really got to release my Ryu damage video. I really do. I've been chilling on that for a couple of days. I think it's time to finally release that. So hopefully keep an eye out for that tonight.